Hey everyone, hope you all are happy and healthy. In today's video, we will cover some more aspects of preparation. Before this, I have already made a video on my journey and my book list. Also, I have given list of free YouTube sessions. Do check them from the link in the description. So, let's begin. First is note making. Note making is a personal aspect. One may like to make notes while others might mark the lines in the book. So only if you think you can make simple crispy notes, then make it. Otherwise, take a highlighter and keep that in the book. In my case, I sometimes made and also didn't make notes. For example, for world literature, I studied from PDFs. So I used to highlight it then and there. For British literature, criticism, theories, culture studies and others, I made my personal notes. But remember that not to make notes after your first reading. At this juncture, you will feel like noting down everything. After your second reading, note making should commence. I did it after first reading, so I have this bunch of notes that I will show you shortly. Once you decide to make notes, I would suggest to make it continent-wise, like British literature, American literature, African literature, Indian literature, so on. You may also make it genre-wise or according to literary movements. However, whatever you note down, it should not be too lengthy. Be precise and note it periodically, so that it will be of best use in the match the following questions in the exam. Also, you can use different highlighters and pen to make your notes interesting. Now, how to write and where to write notes. Here, I am just briefing you. You may work according to your resource availability. These suggestions will genuinely reduce the chance of double notes. Because the syllabus is vast, we often forget what we have written. This has happened to me and might happen to you as well. So to avoid such blunders, here are my suggestions. We usually write the notes in register, but when we have more things to add to a point, we don't get that much space in registers after it is filled. So, you can overcome such problems by using a diary. A diary will be suitable option, especially the spiral one, because we can readjust pages and add extra information if we have any. Next, the most useful will be plain papers, whether A4 or A3 sheets will do. That makes you easily note down your topics and attach any extra information whenever needed. Mark page numbers on it so that it doesn't get misplaced and secure it with streamlined clips. Apart from this, sticky notes, bookmarks, etc. are your personal choices. And here is the picture showing some view of my notes. Timetable. The timetable is the basics of every student's life. Without it, you cannot move further and systematically do your study. It also makes us aware of what we have on our list and what we happen to do, in what direction to proceed and what to avoid. So plan your studies in bits and pieces. First, set monthly targets or weekly targets and then move to daily targets. I made it according to the 10 units of the syllabus and studied accordingly. Also don't forget to make your timetable flexible. Avoid making it rigid and have breaks and off days whenever you feel. So find what suits you and adjust accordingly. Here is a small glimpse of 7 days of my week's planning and how I carried it. Monday to Friday in the morning, I studied for 3 to 4 hours for paper 1. As my maths was weak, I gave more time to it. So the paper 1 used to go for 3 to 4 hours daily. Then, in second and third shift, I studied paper 2 for 4 to 5 hours, in which I did readings and videos if I had to watch any, make notes, etc. Then 1 hour daily at night, I used to solve quizzes. I did not skip this particularly at any cost and was consistent throughout my journey. Other than this, I revised in the morning or night whenever I was okay with it. On Sunday, I used to skip heavy readings and solve mocks of both paper 1 and paper 2 and do analysis of it on the same day. Some excellent sources of quizzes are as shown. For paper 1, I used Byju's exam prep app, and at 10 am, they daily upload a quiz of 10 questions. That was my daily practice. Also, if I got chance, I did Unacademy mocks. There are plenty of them at zero cost on their app. Paper 2 quizzes were there at Byju's exam prep and at Unacademy. In my case, I followed Unacademy. They have a cycle of quizzes for every subject daily, but for English literature, the timings were at 12:13 pm and 10 pm. In total, there are 30 questions. I found it best for preparation because these quizzes are based on PYQs and daily they have repeated 5 to 6 questions. So we get hold of it and can revise it repeatedly without extra effort. Other than this, Telegram quizzes of selected channels are really very good. For paper 2, Wallet's test public group is best. Also, other groups have excellent hand-on quizzes. So discover the group you think is good, but don't get lost because there are many of them. Now, some memorization tips that I followed are drawing. For example, I used to get confused between Tories and Whigs. These were political parties of 18th century. So in front of Whigs, I drew a wig. For me, it was like one can remove wigs and wear a new one. So Whigs were of new thoughts. In contrast, the Tories were conventional. That was my method of remembering it. Similarly, the linking method can be used to remember multiple works of an author. For example, there is a list of work by so-and-so author. Take one word from that work and link it with another and make a story. This will be fun at the end. All these mnemonics will be in your brain automatically and you would not have to force yourself to recollect it. And the basic ones like diagrams, tables, graphs and mind maps are another. Then the techniques of selection helps too. Select topics that attracts you, choose topics that are difficult to remember and apply or distribute what you know is the winner's strategy to success. Also, you can do funny translation in your mother tongue and you will be good to go. All of this will take time, but in the end, you shall be pro at it. Now, how to boost preparation? Boosting is available in mobiles. So when we boost our mobiles, it works more efficiently. Similarly, our brain needs boosting. It can be done in the form of songs, like just plugging in headphones and listening to a favorite song or songs that motivates you. This will really boost your productivity. Then you can watch movies, documentaries, audiobooks, newsletters by tests, magazines, newspapers, quizzes, etc. Others like pasting clippings on the wall make us aware of our priorities and reminds us from time to time that what we must do. Meditation and recalling are other good ways to boost yourself. However, the most effective is having self-belief that yes, we can do it. Then maintaining consistency towards study. If you have 2 to 3 days off in between, that's okay. But it shouldn't be like reels. If you like one, you wish to see other. So you have to be ruthless when it comes to studying. If you have to sit for studies, you must drag your chair and sit for it. Patience is another pillar of the studies. If we look at NTA's consistency in postponing the exam of UGC NET 2022, it was like being under the weather and study. A lot of stress and anxiety surrounded many students like me. But we have to be patient. Don't forget, it's just a phase that we have to cross. Once it's all over, all the stress will be gone. But your patience will lead you towards a beautiful result. Discipline is another. I know these words are heavy for many of you, but eventually we will realize this with the preparation process. Have faith that everything will work one day. Revision. Revision is an essential part of any examination. Revision ensures the probability of you marking correct answers in the exam. So here is my revision plan for you. Make revision strategies on a daily, weekly or monthly basis. Look how you are comfortable with your plan. But make sure to read a topic again within 22 days of first reading. At first, revision might take time, but till the last revision, it will be in a few minutes. Also revise 3 to 4 times before the main exam. For paper 2, the best revision before the exam can be done by following the crash courses of Kalyani Vallat ma'am. Every year before the NET exam, she launches a 15 to 20 days crash course on her YouTube channel free of cost. So don't miss to grab it. Also, I followed her on Spotify at Kalyani's Pathshala. It is very informative. And the episodes are century-wise. This is the most considerable boost you can get before the exam. It's in the form of question and answer, and I highly recommend it. Listening to it before the exam will be good. Also remember to write down dates on which you have revised a particular topic so that when you visit it next time, you get an idea of what time before you have read it. Sometimes, I used to feel I read this topic just a few days ago, but then, because of the dates, I got to know that no, it was touched by me 2 months ago or something. Likewise, don't spend much time revising what you have already known. Revise and highlight only such topics that are difficult for you to recollect. Then, some general tips I would like to suggest are: first, understand the subject. Don't be in a hurry to know everything, and don't get upset if the questions you are solving is going wrong. Be clear about the fundamentals you have learned in your undergrads and postgrads. Get an in-depth understanding of the topics because in exams, application-based questions are often asked rather than fact-based. So, your knowledge and awareness about a particular topic will make to get them. Along with this, following news about literature is equally essential. For example, when I was preparing for the exam, Tomb of Sand by Gitanjali Sri won International Booker Prize. So, keeping track of current affairs also helps. Last is the guessing technique. After you go through PYQs, it automatically strikes you what the examiner might ask next time. For example, if there is a question on the publication date of a novel, the next time they might ask who wrote this novel or what the story is. For a winner, it is essential to be prepared with the strategies of these 3 R's first only, so that you don't make blunders. Speaking of me, I did paper 1 first and then moved to paper 2. You may follow this or vice versa. Then, read the questions carefully. Here, we usually focus on solving questions in time, but in that process, we commit many mistakes in reading. So, sufficient speed with careful reading always works. Likewise, do neat calculations, draw neat big numbers, and don't make mistakes. The elimination technique should be followed. That's the formula for great saver. Also, I would like to suggest doing passages at the start of paper 2 because if we do, at last it happens that we run out of time and we read it at full speed and make mistakes. Passages are score booster, so don't take it lightly to solve it at last, as it ensures 20 marks. And most important, do not panic. If you have worked hard for the exam, you will definitely pass. Lastly, I want to say that I did my best to bring for you preparation strategies based on my experience. For some, it might have gone above their heads, but don't worry. Be selective and wise in everything that I have offered you. This was my side of preparation. Next time, I would like to hear yours. So all the very best everyone. Your hard work and studies will never go in vain. Be consistent and remember, there are no shortcuts to success. Don't be in a hurry to know everything. Eat healthy, take breaks whenever you feel, and for competitive exams, completing the syllabus is impossible. So even on your last day of preparation, you will think that I have not read this and that. However, be confident about what you have studied and don't worry about the things you have skipped. And yes, soon I will give you compilation of all the books I have mentioned earlier. And I will post the PDFs of this video and my book list in the Telegram. So, keep in touch and thank you for watching this video. God bless you all.